Hey guys, and welcome back to Mamacorn Reads Reddit, where I bring you guys the best stories that Reddit has to offer. But before we begin, please remember to subscribe and hit that bell button so that you can be notified every time I bring you a new video. Today's subject: today I fudged up. Shall we go? Our first TIFU of the day was posted by W. Worrell. Today I effed up by saying I wanted to passionately hug my boss's underage daughter. Not as bad as the title suggests, I swear. I work in an auto parts sale place. As anyone who works in the automotive business knows, the language in the shop is generally rated R. For example, I had a co-worker once tell me his wife told him breakfast was hot and ready, then she put her leg up on the table and... I can't finish that sentence because of YouTube, but you get the idea. I'm a bit of a loser, nerd, vanilla, so my stories can't compare unfortunately, but I do try to fit in still. All of our customers have their own accounts, but every so often we need to look up a part to check stock, or to bring in parts from another location, since if we used an actual customer's account, we mess with the numbers. We created a special account for these purposes. We called it Amanda's Garage. I was joking around with my boss, and when he showed me this account I said, I wouldn't mind parking my car in Amanda's garage. He looked at me and said, Amanda is my 13-year-old daughter. Turns out, when he created the account, he named it after his daughter, so I had just told him I wanted to passionately hug his daughter. Luckily, he just laughed it off, called me an idiot. This was 10 years ago. Not sure how I'm still working here, but thank God I am. Oh, OP, that is an unfortunate mistake to make. Thankfully your boss laughed it off, because otherwise you could have been in big trouble for that one. It sounds like a good place to work though, and I'm glad you're still working there. Our second TIFU was posted by the same user, but it's a bit more recent. Today I effed up by storing pop on top of my TV/entertainment centre and covering my whole room in pop. This happened a few years ago. I had just moved out on my own and brought a brand new TV and entertainment centre. I set it up with my TV sat right next to my computer screen. It was perfect. I could sit at the computer screen and just turn slightly to the left and there was my TV. I lived in a small bachelor apartment, so my living room was also my bedroom and storage room as well. So I decided to put my spare groceries on the shelf above my TV and computer. Everything worked great for a little while, until I decided to store some cases of pop up there. I only had a small fridge, so I would only take a few cans at a time and leave the rest in the case, above the TV. I used to buy those cases with a little opening on them, so you could take a few cans out and the case would basically still be intact. One day I was on my computer and I saw something fall out of the corner of my eye. It hit the TV with a thump and sprayed me right in the face. I'm now momentarily blind and confused, but I can hear thump, 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 and psst, psst. I wipe my face and I see that the flaps on one of the cases of pop have let go, and the pop cans are now rolling out and falling onto my TV. Oh. When they hit, they are splitting open and spraying pop everywhere like tiny grenades. I quickly grabbed the most empty case to stop the rest from falling out, but there were still cans on the floor, and even one behind my TV and monitor spraying everywhere like a sprinkler. I grabbed what I could and quickly threw them into my sink, luckily not too far away. I soaked up as much as I could with some towels, but it was basically a sticky mess everywhere, and took me a day or two to get it cleaned up properly. Oh, and because of this incident, I started drinking juice instead of pop. I bought those big rectangle bottles that every store sells. Only problem was they were too big for my fridge, so I just left them sitting out on my desk. One day, I found my grape juice bloated and looking like a 2-litre bottle of pop. I stupidly opened it, and the cap shot off, and I got grape juice everywhere. Long story short, I think I have a drinking problem. Lol. OP, I can completely sympathise with you on this. I keep my Dr. Peppers on top of the fridge, and I will hobble past on my crutch and knock into the fridge, and they will all come tumbling down straight onto my head. And the amount of times I have had one pop and explode all over the dining room, on this bed, on the fridge, everywhere. And another thing, the other week, I was in my wheelchair and I had a big crate of Dr. Peppers between my knees, and I was carrying them, and I hit a rock. And as I hit the rock, the Dr. Pepper case went tumbling forward, and yeah, they just started shooting out all over the street, all over me, all over my chair, and I just sat there in defeat, like, oh, I can't say that word on YouTube, but yeah, it's insane. We really shouldn't keep popping high places. And as for the grape juice, yeah, if it's bloated, don't open it. No, we don't open bloated anything, otherwise they will explode and it's gross. But thank you for letting me share your story, OP. I really appreciate it.
Our next TIFU was posted by a user who wants to remain anonymous, but they were gracious enough to allow me to use their story. Today I effed up by touching what I thought was a leaf. I work at a boutique. We sell clothes, perfume and candles, that kind of stuff. So last week we were rearranging the racks for a sale, and my boss tells me to move some pants around. I go over to this rack of culottes that no one ever looks at because they are ridiculous. I don't even know why they're on the floor during winter. I start flipping through them to see what sizes there are, and I spot something small and brown on one of the pants. Sometimes we'll put a rack of clothes on the sidewalk if the weather is nice, but that hasn't been for at least a month. So I just think, damn, truly no one looks at these pants. How has a leaf been on here for so long? I look at it for maybe 1 second and brush my hand at it, to get this leaf off, and immediately I know, that is not a leaf. So naturally I just start screaming. This thing falls to the floor and starts making tiny screechy noises. What the hell is this thing? I bolt to the other side of the store at this point because that one episode of The Office absolutely terrified me. In the process, I knock over a mannequin and dent the crap out of the wood floor. There are a few customers in the store and one of them just keeps yelling, "What's going on? What is it?" Our little 70-year-old customer sees the tiny winged rat on the floor and starts walking towards it. I still don't understand what she wanted to do, so I'm yelling her to move away because, rabies, dude. The bat just takes off, flying all over the place. Cue all the customers, except the 70-year-old, running in the opposite direction, and one knocking over a jewellery display, another taking down the curtain to the fitting room. I start yelling for my boss because this was not covered in my training. She comes running, carrying 2 doormats. Looking back, I have no idea what she was planning to do with those. I grab a shoebox as if I'm somehow gonna get high enough to catch it. The bat finally flew off to the back of the store and crawled into a gap above our air conditioning vent. All the customers, bar the 70-year-old, left. Props to her. She actually said, "I didn't think I was going to go on an adventure today." That was pretty cute. Thankfully, the bat was caught and released the next day. But yeah, in hindsight, I really wish I'd taken the extra few seconds to register what I was looking at, so I could have avoided sending everyone into a complete panic and breaking a bunch of stuff. And also, avoided touching a bat, even if it was a little bit cute.
OP, I absolutely love your reaction to the bat. I would have done the exact same thing if I'd have seen one just flying somewhere that I wasn't expecting, because anything coming flying at you, you're gonna run and scream, and causing pandemonium absolutely everywhere. Brilliant reaction. But the weird thing is, a few years ago I found a baby bat outside my house, and it was just on the floor, and I think it had fallen out of wherever it was from, and we put it in a little box with holes in it, and we gave it things that the internet told us to give it and look after it with, and then we called the bat control people, who then came and collected it. So it's strange. If I had seen a bat come flying at me, I would have probably run for the hills. Whereas, finding a baby bat, I was completely calm and cool. But you never know how you're going to react in that kind of situation, and I completely understand why you reacted that way. Thank you, OP, for sharing your story. It was hilarious.
Our final TIFU of the day is posted by Trash Rat Josh. Funny name considering we got the flying rat in the last one. Today I effed up by locking myself out of my house in my underwear. This happened a few hours ago. I just moved into a new house a week ago. Haven't had time to make a spare key yet because I just started college again with a full class load. The door handles do this BS thing where even when the doorknob is locked, it will still turn and open, but not from the outside. So you can turn the knob from inside, but not from outside by the sounds of it. Ironically enough, I went outside to check if the detached studio house was locked. It was. Domain move number 1, as was the back door I had just closed. Domain move number 2, I am now mostly naked and very afraid. That's unfortunate. Even more ironically, I had the passenger door to my Jeep unlocked. Domain move number 3, I got a knife and tried to jimmy the lock open. No dice. After realising a locksmith was cheaper than stitches in a new window, I resigned to ask a neighbour for help. The first house refused to acknowledge my presence, even after making eye contact through the kitchen window. They also had signs with Bible verses on the front porch. Go figure. That's not very Christian of them. But I can understand that they're probably terrified of you, OP. Second house I tried, a gentleman opened the door and burst out laughing. He was more than willing to let me use his phone to call a locksmith, and overall thought the situation was hilarious. Even gave me a pair of shorts so I would be decent when the locksmith came through. Jason, if you're reading this, you're a freaking legend.
OP, I am so sorry for laughing, but that is so unfortunate and yet absolutely hilarious. You haven't even met the neighbours yet, and the first time you do is in your underwear while you're locked out of your brand new house. I mean, I can't believe the first people. They have Bible verses on their doorstep, and yet they don't help out a stranger in need. The second person, Jason, go you. You are a legend, as OP said, and you absolutely deserve a medal for helping the strange naked man who knocked on your door. Sorry, semi-naked. And you gave him shorts. I think Jason is a cool dude. And OP, thank you for letting me share your story. And thank you to everyone today for letting me share your stories. And if you enjoyed listening to this, please remember to like, share, and subscribe for more Mamacorn Reads Reddit. Bye guys!